layouts, and today I have a Stretch the Sketch video for you. I'm going to be using this one-page sketch from Scrapbook Generations, and I'm going to turn it into a double-page layout. This month we are able to choose our own sketch. I have seen a couple of the ladies' layouts so far, and they are amazing. It has been 3 years since Stretch the Sketch has started. There are just so many talented women that are doing this every single month. My layout is going to be a layout about voting, and I decided to use a 4th of July kit because it has a lot of the colors that are similar to what you would see for something like voting. I loved all of the colors in this collection. This is from last year's Echo Park collection. What really made me decide to buy this collection was the truck. And I know the truck has been everywhere, but I do love that truck. And I am so glad that I got it. I didn't happen to use it on this one because I felt like it was more of a summary thing, not really a voting thing. But I was able to use a ton of other items from this collection. The sketch calls for a bunch of banner strips on the far left-hand side, as well as a couple of circles. So I went ahead and pulled out my Creative Memory circles. It called for circles in a 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch. I do have some of those in punches, and then obviously the larger ones I have in my circle cutter. Let me know below, do you have both a circle cutter and circle punches? I think that I prefer to have circle punches, but I don't want huge punches, and that's why I have the circle cutters for my larger circles, but both of them do come in handy from time to time. So I'm just going through all of the pattern paper, trying to decide which pieces I want to add. And then I do also decide that I'm going to use the banner punch to add banners to the bottom of it. The sketch only calls for a couple of the pieces to have a banner tail, but I decided to go ahead and do all of them just to do something different. I really like that wood grain there with the rosettes. I don't really know what else to call them. I know that when they're a lot larger like that, I'm not sure if they're called rosettes as well. But I think that that looks really cool with that wood grain background. I am just using my spatula to pull up the edge of it because I had already heared it down. Once I get all of it down, I do go ahead and use my T-square ruler to line them up, and then I just lightly go over the paper with my X-Acto knife, and that way it makes it all straight and flush to the top of that white paper. I did back my paper in a different wood grain and just gave it a 1/4 inch border around that white paper as well. On the left-hand side, the sketch does call for 2 photos in the horizontal way. I just had this one photo that I wanted to use in the portrait, so it takes up about the same amount of space. And I did kind of burst out my circles. It only called for a couple of circles on the sketch, but I wanted to add a few more circles just to continue the theme. I do go ahead and use the wood grain paper that I backed my entire layout with to mat my photo with as well, and I really like that wood grain. It just gives it a little something extra on the back of my photo there. Then for the right hand side of the layout, I go ahead and just leave my photos at the 4x6. I do trim them down just a little bit to make sure that they fit on the white paper. I didn't want them to span all the way to the edge of the layout. And one of the photos was just a little bit larger than the other, so again I went ahead and pulled out my T-square ruler and my X-Acto knife and just trimmed that down. Sometimes it's just easier to do it that way as opposed to pulling out my trimmer, just because then I know exactly how much to cut off. So I decided that I wanted the photos to line up at the bottom and match both the right and left, so I do go ahead and pull out the photo on the left and recenter it. In the middle of those 4 photos on the right, I did want to add a sticker to kind of cover up the seams of the 4 photos where the 4 photos met. So I found the sticker that says Land That I Love. The stickers that I pull out are really focusing on things that sort of have to do with voting. So I have independence, America, liberty. I'm also going to do a justice over there on the far right hand side. So I feel like all of those things come with the privilege of voting. Now, for this particular layout, I know that sometimes the election can be a very sensitive topic, and so I decided not to share my journaling on this particular layout. I do that off camera, and I do cover up my journaling when I took the close-ups. This layout is really more about the pride that I felt when I voted, and I wanted to share this layout, but I also know that it's a sensitive topic. I am not sharing who I voted for or my thought processes on the voting outcome, as well as the controversy that came from the voting. So I hope that you guys stuck around and didn't have any issues with this layout, because I do love the way that this layout came out. I feel like I was able to pull tons of things from my stash. Now, not only did I pull things out from this collection, I do have a bag of all of like random 4th of July stuff, just usually from older collections where there's just a few pieces left, and I went ahead and added all of those throughout the layout. One of the fun things that I was able to pick up from Tuesday morning, this was at least last year, probably even the year before that, are these rub-ons. And I'm not really a big fan of rub-ons, but because these are supposed to be like fireworks or starburst, it's perfect for them to be rub-ons. So they have the rub-ons in the silver, but then they also have them in red and blue. And so I added them throughout the layout, and just using the popsicle stick that came with it. I did also pull out a sticker over there on the left that says proud and the United States. When I cut out that water can that has 1776 on it, I caught a little bit of the word that was on the card, and so I wanted to cover that up. I did that with the sticker that says proud and the United States. Up on the right hand side of the layout, what I decided to do was add a couple of banners over there to mimic the banners on the left hand side of the layout. Whenever you're stretching a sketch, one of the easiest things to do is to add elements from one side onto the other side. And so by pulling those banners over, it brings your eye up into that cluster. I decided that I needed a firework down at the bottom, and when I went to pull up the wax paper or whatever the rub-on is on, I tore the floral down there. So what I decided to do was pull out this little sticker that is the Statue of Liberty, and I put it up on fun foam, and I just covered up where I tore it, so like the little tear of the paper, and it looks perfectly fine. I pulled out these enamel shapes from Freckled Fawn, and I am using the white glittery enamel dots to add to each one of the clusters. I do start my journaling, which you can see here, but then I do decide to finish the journaling off camera. So here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. I have all of the other ladies who are participating this month in the hop, and I would love for you to go check them out. They're down in the description box below. Also, I want to let you guys know that we have a Facebook page. So if you stretch one of the sketches this month or any other month, feel free to post your layout over on the Facebook group, because we would love to see how you stretch the sketch. All right, everyone, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.